Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, and we're continuing on with Lara Croft here. So here's the hair. I just want to show you what it's going to look like. I'm going to do it again really quick because I kind of took too long recording this. So it's pretty simple to do to get this kind of manga look. So this is the whole image is kind of a manga American comic fusion. So right. Anyway, let me push pause and undo the hair. Right. So the first thing we need to do is Okay, so first thing we need to do is disappear our groups and the lines layers. All we have is the base layer in the background. Then go to Select, Color Range, and we're going to pick this hair color. Let me zoom in to make sure I have all the lines that are nice and crisp. I hit Control H to do that. I want to bring them back. There's little nicks here and there. I can just get rid of those really quick by using the lasso tool and then holding down the shift key and adding these selections in there. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of start zoomed out about like so. Turn my other layers back on, and I'm going to open up my groups for my shading. I'm going to go to my shading layer, and then I'm going to use a big soft brush. Use my Alt key to pick the hair color, double click on the color here in the bottom left hand side, and then I'm going to desaturate it and bring it down here, so down and to the left. And I'm just going to think of this as a sphere, obviously, and I'm going to have darker parts over there. I'm going to hit Control H to get rid of the lines, the little ants, the marquee. I need to turn my opacity up. No wonder it was like having to push so hard and so much. So first I just kind of shade it like a sphere. I'm going to just kind of shade all of it really quick, and then I'm going to go to eraser. So that way it's kind of like a sphere, and then I need those ones not to be shaded really. So I'm just going to kind of pull the shading off. And then I need all this right here. I'm going to zoom out some more. All this will be kind of in shade because her body's kind of blocking it. All this side will be in shade, like that. Okay, then I go to my shadows, and I'm going to pick like a purple color. Maybe I'll kind of go more red actually. Kind of go more with the hair color, I guess. I want it really saturated, dark. And I'm going to pick my pen brush. So you should know what my brushes are by now by name. My pen brush is the brush that, actually I'm just going to, all that should be dark. Notice I make strokes, and I want to be decisive with them. So you want to make, just the stroke you want to make and just make it. It takes practice, with the Wacom tablet to do it. Even takes practice, to be able to do that with a pen or a paintbrush. But if you want to practice getting good at making decisive strokes, one way is with markers. You don't have to get like Copic markers especially, because they require that kind of precision to look good and to not run. So it's a good medium to practice to get used to using your Wacom tablet. Right, so I'm just going to go through and shade all this. I don't really have anything to say, so it's just kind of, this I guess would be a different section kind of. I guess I could talk a bit about shading, but really it's just kind of you're thinking about your light source, where it's coming from, and you're putting in these clear lines, especially when you're doing a manga. And so since this is a manga fusion, I have a lot of manga techniques like for the hair, and you'll see more when we get to the highlights. But I'm going to push pause while I go ahead and finish doing this part. And before I do that, actually I will show you one more thing. With braids, typically when you shade them, the dark side you kind of shade like this, and notice I'm being very decisive and clear with my stroke. I'm just doing it confidently and quickly so it doesn't, look retarded. So just kind of, that's how it's going to be shaded. And then I'm going to go back and do another stroke for that part. Oops, that's all ugly. For that part of the thing that's overlapping, see all that's overlapping a bit, so I'm going to add shade all the way down like that. Okay, I'm going to push pause while I do this. Another technique too, just really quick, let's say I want, like I have some, hairlines that you can kind of see, like that, let's say. You can kind of, fill it in and then get your smudge tool, and then you can pull. I have strength at 100%. Oh, I didn't pick my smudge tool. Strength at 100%, and what this does is it kind of, you just lightly. Actually, I need to pick the right brush here. A brush that has both pressure and sensitivity set. So when you just kind of pull it from the edge there, you can kind of make some streaks, and it kind of blurs it out as well. I'm going to kind of pull this down. And so that is a technique you can use for doing lines, and then you can go back in with the eraser, and you can kind of erase some of it if you wanted to get sharper lines on some of them. And then you can go back and forth doing that. And so that's a good way to add some variety to the hair. It's good for manga, like when you're doing bangs and stuff. Right, so next is lighting. I'm going to go ahead and collapse the group for shading. I'll open the highlighting group, and let's see here. Also, you can group properties if you want. You can name your group. So that way I can distinguish between my groups, so you can do that as well. Anyway, let's go to the dodge and then pick white. As we did before, pick a soft brush, and I'm just going to turn my opacity way down here. I'm just going to lightly hit a couple parts where I know I want more light to be hitting, like that. And then we can do another manga technique. Kind of zoom out here. Pick my hard pen brush. I don't want it too small, I don't want it too big, but I want it pretty small. And what you do is you kind of go up and down like so. Kind of follow the the hair. Like so. Maybe even add, a highlight or two on some of the hair there. Actually, see, I wasn't decisive with that stroke, so I need to do it again. And I just want a little bit more there. Maybe you have one right there. Alright, so then right here, I'm going to just kind of go down the braid. What I could do with the braid is, I like this look here. But what I could have done with the braid is have little, oops, that's ugly. Have little flicks on the side showing like the strands, and then have one side with dark strands, one side with light strands. But I like this look here, so this is what you'd use like on bangs, right? And then this is the really cool trick, still in the dodge layer. Pick a soft brush that's just a little bit bigger than the stroke you made. And you got to be careful with how much pressure you push. You want to follow that line as close as possible. You could do this on a separate layer, what I'm doing right now, on a separate dodge layer, and then that way you can fix it up if you need to. Like for example, you might use the smudge tool to kind of change the shape of this layer. But anyway, so you just follow the lines like that. I'm going to push pause and finish this. Right, so that concludes the hair part. That's like a quick hair tutorial, at least for specific hair. I mean, a hair tutorial would cover all kinds of hairstyles and stuff. Anyway, there you go. So that's pretty cool. Now you got that cool manga kind of fusion hairstyle. If I wanted, I can add, a little bit brighter parts in some of the things. maybe right there. Notice this, I just barely had any at all because it's in the shadow. So anyway, there you go. That's how you do the hair. Please rate and subscribe or comment. I really like comments. That'd be cool. Just what you're thinking of it so far, and whether you think I should like maybe speed up some of the videos where they're just like sped up and then I talk over it. Anyway, thanks.